Yoga is not about touching your toes. It's about learning how your nervous system responds to being with yourself.
Hello, and welcome to the Philosophy Podcast, where we get to explore the art of intuitive healing and holistic leadership. I'm your host, Fionna Findley, the professional chatterbox, business mentor, nervous system nerve nerd, and forever student of what it means to find true freedom in life. With everything that I offer, I invite you to take what you need and leave what you don't, and let whatever resonate land in your body of wisdom. This space is for exploration, transformation, and discovering what true freedom really feels like and looks like for you. So let's dive in. Hello, welcome to the Philosophy Podcast. I'm your host, Fionna Findley, and today this is an unscripted podcast. It's all about my dribble about yoga. I'm just going to let it bubble up for what I need to put out there. So it's very much aligned with the way I do my yoga classes. I don't plan anything. It's very much in the moment and the presence. So this episode is for you guys out there that think you're not bendy, you don't have a yoga body, you've got no flexibility, you're a runner, you're a this, you're a that, and you're identifying with not what you deem as yoga. I'm here to gently tell you that if you have breath in your body, anybody can do yoga. Having said that, let's just dive right in. I wanted to start, I guess, with a little bit about my journey with yoga. We haven't always been friends. I have broken up a few times with yoga. I want to start my yoga journey with why I found yoga. And it was purely as a stress relief. And it was also what I was finding is that I could back up my weight sessions at the gym. And when I told this to my yoga teacher, Wolfgang, he was a little horrified. And I think kudos to him for not completely wiping me as a student. I guess that's part of his practice. But he really persevered with me. Let's just say that there is something deeper to yoga than the physical. Now, I attended these classes with a girlfriend of mine who was my gym buddy, and she was awesome. Renee, if you're listening, that was you. So she got me into the gym. She got me doing body pump classes, cycle, and I actually started to get a routine around fitness. And then I introduced her to swimming, and together we found yoga. So for many years, we did this we would say it was a meditative practice, but really it was just supporting our strength training practice. And to start with, I couldn't even sit on my feet. Like every posture hurt. And I just remember thinking, my God, I hope I make it to Shavasana. And it wasn't until I had a kinesiology appointment, something rejigged, and it allowed me straight away to sit on my feet. Now, this kinesiologist was an 80-year-old farmer that couldn't see very well, and he only picked up a kinesiology. It was like a copper thing, and I'm holding my hands up like you can see if you're probably listening. It's sort of like a crown, and I had to put it on my head. And I found it very, very weird because I definitely wasn't in the woo at that stage of my life. And it was amazing. Within 20 minutes, I was able to sit on my feet comfortably. And from then on, I found a lot of peace. And moving forward into that, my yoga practice actually developed and grew. And yes, for many, many years after that, I practiced with that physical aspect. I found peace from my mind every now and then. I went through a bit of tumult. I had a bit of a tumultuous relationship, and I found peace on the mat there. What I questioned at the time was whether it was escapism. So I would escape a lot in that meditative state just to tap out of life because I found it so challenging. And then I would sleep in Shavasana, which was awesome. And then I would go home. And then when I discovered yoga teacher training in Bali, other things started to shift. And I always went to geez, there's that for a self-belief pattern. I used to go to these yoga practices that were medium to advanced, and I'd always be pushing my body. My hips didn't like it very much. My ego loved it, and I would attend many yoga workshops, eating lentils, doing all the things, being vegan, doing all that sort of stuff. And the thing
was I found it very identifying with. So I could identify that I was a yoga teacher. I could identify that I was a vegan. I could identify because I was wearing the latest Lululemon. Like shit, man. I am the yoga teacher, and there was so much pressure that I was putting on myself to be the thing that I wanted to portray. And if you've listened to my podcast around grieving your old life when motherhood arrived on my path, it was a toughie. And it started to unravel a lot of my identification towards yoga. Anyway, with the yoga, I had surgery on my head, so I couldn't do the headstands. I couldn't do the inversions. I couldn't do all the things that I prided myself on as a yoga teacher slash student. And then I don't know whether it's because I'm 40 and I'm just sick of the mundane, but there's now a deeper sense of this connection. So when you get to practice yoga, the asana is about the postures and things. The first time you do it though, you're going to feel uncomfortable. You're going to feel like you're no good at it. And it's a false indication because your body hasn't been used in that way and it's scared. So going back to the nervous system stuff, if you're doing new things, your brain is going, this isn't safe, this isn't for you. And so to support that, your ego comes in and it says, no, you're not built for yoga. You keep running or you keep doing your CrossFit or you keep doing, it's not that. It's your brain protecting you. That makes sense. I hope that come across okay. I hope that makes sense because it's a real shift and a turning point when you're able to meet yourself on the mat. The thing that I do feel that is important is that if you're a teacher, you're able to hold space for all and everything, that you're able to provide a sense of safety for people. And it's also a platform for people to go inwards. It's not the teacher. The teacher has got nothing to do with it. The teacher is just giving you a space so you go inwards in your own journey. Because again, during my classes, if you're having a rough time and I'm going through these vinyasas, you might find more comfort sitting in child's pose. You might be sitting in Supta Baddha Konasana, so, knees apart and backwards. Whatever the thing is, whatever it is you need and whatever it is the medicine is called to you, that is what you do. And there's some classes out there that are very regimented and very prescriptive, and there's nothing wrong with that either if that's what calls to you. So if you're new to yoga, I really, 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 really do encourage you to try different flavors because, yeah, it's good to workshop a pose. And Iyengar yoga is brilliant in workshopping poses and alignment, and they've got the philosophy, and that it's a well-rounded practice. For some, you might want some more freedom though in your practice, but you can find different styles for your different needs at the same time. So, for all the newbies out there, what is yoga? Yoga is not about touching your toes. It's about learning how your nervous system responds to being with yourself. What does it mean? Yoga actually means union, to yoke, the mind, body, spirit. That's what it's there for. And we use different practices to get into it. And as you all know, I'm a nerve nerd. And understanding how the nervous system works with your meditation, how the nervous system works with your breath work, and how your nervous system works with the asana, the postures, it's a practice that you can deepen over time. It's a practice that you can bring in the medicine that you need. And it's a real beautiful framework and wisdom, and it's not a religion. And I thought it was for many, many years, and I get intellectually challenged when it comes to religion. The descriptive, my brain just shuts off. I don't know what it is. It shuts off. As soon as I am told to worship something outside of me, like a deity or a book, my brain just shuts off. My brain shuts off. So I really struggle with the intellectualism, any type of religion, whereas yoga didn't do that. So I know lots of people, like I have a special yoga friend that introduced me to Ashtanga who's also Catholic. And I was, how does that work? Because I thought yoga was a religion, but it's not. It's a framework. It's a self-inquiry process. It's a personal development tool. It's a conditioning tool. So yes, you're strengthening your body, but you're also strengthening your mind and you're strengthening your spiritual connection, whatever your spiritual connection is and means to you. They do have deities and it can refer to Hinduism, but I guess even if you don't understand that or it's not something that you're drawn to, you're not going to miss out on anything. You're still going to get the flavor and the benefits of the wisdom that gets to land with you on the mat. And the other thing that I really promote in class, and I know many yoga teachers do as well, it's not a competition. It's not a gymnastics routine. It's definitely not a pump class. This is what I say to my students. It's not a pump class. So don't tell me that you're going to do everything that I say for you to do. I want you to check in with yourself. So it's not a competition against yourself, and it's definitely not a competition against anybody else because everyone is on their own journey. And the whole metaphor of my life philosophy, where everyone is on their own journey, really applies in a yoga class. So everyone is on their own mat and you can physically see it. You are on your own mat in your own, sometimes world of pain, and you can see others, they're in bliss, and others have got no idea what's going on. And that is life. So it's a really nice, safe representation of life. And you get to experiment and you get to push and test those limits of what you think is a limit. You get to discover between pain and discomfort. And then when you're in that discomfort, what comes up for you? What's your thinking? What words are coming up? Is it, you can't do this. You're not flexible enough. You have a fat stomach. You have a fat big bum. Like those things are interesting because they pop up, especially when we're feeling uncomfortable. And we're all different shapes and sizes, and that is not our worth. That is not who we are. It's got no representation of how much love we have for ourselves and one another. And over the course of our life, it changes. So even that in itself, it's like, that's interesting. That's coming up. So when I broke up with yoga for about 12 months, yes, we had a split. We had to have some time apart. And when I returned to the mat, for me to touch my toes, I had a stomach roll. And I haven't had a stomach roll until pregnancy. And then post that, it's never really left. But when I do it, the thing that comes up, oh, that's disgusting. Oh, I can't believe that. I need to work on that. That needs to go. I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to be real strict with my diet, and I'm going to blah, blah, blah. Catch that, nurture that, accept that that is your thinking. That is not your reality. That is not who you are. You're not your thoughts. And so yoga actually gives you that safe platform for really honing in on those self-limiting beliefs, and then you get to rewire it, which is a whole nother discussion. But yeah, so if you're new to yoga, I just try all flavors. Ashtanga is awesome, especially for newbies. Definitely take it down to the beginner level, but because it's repetitive and it has a sequence, you really get to understand the practice and the methodology and a little bit of the Sanskrit. So Sanskrit is the terminology or the language that's used in yoga. And I never wanted to be never wanted to be this yoga teacher that would vomit out Sanskrit. But here I am now. I use Sanskrit in my classes because it carries a vibration. And yes, I try and use the English word as well, not to feel intimidating as well, but to educate. And that vibration of na or trikonasana, it's part of the wisdom. And it's part of the architectural framework of what this mind, body, spirit science has to offer. Okay, let's shift gears just for a moment. I get a lot of questions in my inbox, and I'm sure they're similar questions to what you have as well. And I really want to answer some of the common ones because there is absolutely no need for you to be scared of yoga, to think that you don't have the body for yoga. All right, do I have to be flexible to do yoga? Absolutely not. Flexibility is not a prerequisite, it is not a requirement, and it may not even be the outcome. And at the end of the day, if you think of your body as balance, there has to be a balance between strength and flexibility. So if you don't have flexibility, do you have a lot of strength? Why is that? And is it on one side? Is it for a certain position? Is it a certain movement, etc.? So great, you're not flexible. Inquire about that. Jump on the mat and start inquiring about that.
Let's just take a moment to chill. Parenting is tricky, running a business is activating, and consciously choosing to grow, let's just say it can be rough and tough and messy. If you're doing any of these things, or if you're doing all of them at once, your plate is full, your brain is overloaded, your tabs are open, and bandwidth feels like a distant memory of the past. I just want you to know that it's totally healthy to feel like this, and that there's another way. A way to feel more calm, confident, and connected. Yep, and let's just throw in a little contentment too. And it all starts with your nervous system. Let's get you out of the overwhelm and into a space where life actually feels chill. This is why I created the Chill Out program, a self-paced course where you get to learn all about your nervous system, how it works, how to map your patterns, and how to regulate using real-life tools and suggestions that fit you and your world. We explore polyvagal theory, nervous system mapping, and build your personal toolkit, just so that you can come back to center again and again. Because this is how you find your calm amongst the chaos. Not by doing more, not by adding to it, but by feeling safe enough just to be. The link's in the show notes, go check it out. Your nervous system will thank you. And now let's get back to it. Is yoga a workout or a spiritual thing? Well, it can be both, right? I used it as a workout. Like I said, I used it to back up my weight sessions at the gym. And it is very physically demanding depending on the style that you're doing, depending on your intention before you step on the mat. It can be, but it can be a spiritual practice at the same time, or it can be purely spiritual. So remember I said, if you've just got breath in your body, you can do yoga. That's it. If you are sitting there with health ailments and physical challenges and immobility, that's fine. Yoga has so many ways to tap into the wisdom. So it could be with breath, it could be visualization, it could be meditation. And the beautiful thing is, I really love is japa meditation. So there's so much out there that you can tap into it with. It doesn't matter. But if you just want to learn it to start with, and it's a physical thing, great. I guarantee you something will land and you'll go, oh, that's what that's about. It's like a peace, a calm. And sometimes it's just a silence that you get such a relief from your own chaos in your own head. Okay. I've tried yoga and got bored. Am I doing it wrong? No, you're not doing it wrong. Again, my question would be, why are you doing it? What's the intention behind it? What's your reason for doing it? If it's so you can say you do yoga, you might need to question that and about your intrinsic motivator. And just because someone says, yoga's so good for you, you should do yoga, it doesn't mean you should do yoga. It might mean that you consider yoga. Maybe you consider breath work or meditation or whatever the thing is. But you're not doing it wrong. But if you're bored, you're also showing that you're thinking. So in a practice, if you've got time to think that you're bored, you're not staying present. And when I say presence, it's a very present type of activity. So a lot of the time, if I have beginners, for example, I will heavily cue you and you'll come out of it at the end of the
hour, my voice is usually a little rasp, and you'll go, "Oh, that went very quickly," because you were able to stay present. Because I was telling you in downward dog, ground down through the base of your thumb and your forefinger, externally rotate this, ground down through that, da da da, and you'll go, "Oh, there it is," and then breathe in, breathe out, and you're moving from one pose to the other, and it's focus. So the boredom is a lack of presence, and it's also a bit of a disconnect with your intrinsic motivator. Not that it's wrong, but it's up to you what you do with that. I'm not spiritual. Can I still practice yoga? Absolutely. Because as you get to experience the little micro shifts and aha moments on the mat, it will trigger, oh, maybe there is something outside of me that's bigger than myself. Yeah, you don't need to be spiritual. Is yoga enough to help with stress or anxiety? Well, it all depends, doesn't it? It all depends. So, where you're sitting with your stress and anxiety, how you use it, it's just another tool in your toolbox. It's definitely not a one size fits all, and it's definitely not the only tool that you'll ever need. It can help. Yes, definitely. The work is also off the mat. So, yoga in your class, in your session, in your practice, it's a teacher. It's like riding a bike with training wheels. That's what your yoga practice is your training wheels. And then you go out in life. And then you get to practice what you've learned on your mat. Just recapping, you don't need to be spiritual. You don't need to be flexible. It's not a competition. And there isn't only one way or one teacher. So go out there, try it on, get the flavors, and also remember that if you're new to it, you are going to feel uncomfortable, that you're not going to feel serene the first couple of times, even a month into your yoga practice and your yoga journey. It's going to be very ad hoc. The thing that it will provide you, though, is a framework for mind, body, spirit connection. It will give you a framework for self inquiry. It will give you a framework to get comfortable or settled with discomfort. And we all need more of that. I know I do. And it's getting comfortable with change, because change is just evolutionary, and that's what we're all here to do. And the people that resist change are the ones that have the most suffering. So get comfortable with it. So that's, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to eloquently say. And the other thing, I guess, with the flavor that I see the yoga practice as, it's a nervous system thing. Be kind to yourself, be gentle. Do the things that make you feel safe. Get yourself a mat, invest in that. Because when you feel comfortable, you're going to feel safe. And having your own space, I think, is quite important. See the compassion in it. If you can't touch your toes, if you're like the beginner in the group, don't worry about it. Be kind to yourself. You're there, you've shown up. And it always comes down to your nervous system. What's it doing? How are you able to channel it into that ventral vagal state of being safe and connected and calm? Okay, you got this far through the podcast. Well done, you. Now let's do a bit of podcast yoga. I want you to bring your awareness to your shoulders. I want you to relax your shoulders away from your ears. Gently squeeze your shoulder blades behind your back, not heavily, not forcefully, just gently. And then if you want to, you can inhale as you roll your shoulders up to your ears and exhale as you roll the shoulder blades back down to your back. Right there, you just did yoga. And that's all it takes. Only the movements are a little bit different. You're moving an arm and a leg, some body. It's all the same though. You're moving with the breath. You are focusing and bringing your awareness onto your body. So I hope this has helped, because you have just done yoga. So on that note, if you are curious any more about yoga, feel free to drop me a DM. DM box is always open. And if you're in the local Hervey Bay area, I do have some local classes running. I am looking at bringing it online, and I'm just trying to figure out how to do that, because I can offer you a class on demand, but I do think it's worth just being able to see you, cue you, and get you to feel that I'm there supporting as well. And it's also to impart just the loveliness of the yogic philosophy and its wisdom. So yeah, that is on the cards, but I don't know when that will actually drop in, but we'll just run with it, right? So on that note, stay calm, curious, and connected, and I will chat to you soon.